everyone. Hello, my name is Stephanie Edelman, and I'm here today at the newly reimagined Mini Masterpieces exhibit on the 4th floor of the Children's Museum. Now, Mini Masterpieces has been one of our longest standing permanent exhibits here at the museum. And if you visited before, you might remember seeing some of these miniature houses and miniature rooms down on the 2nd floor. But we knew that this was such a beloved exhibit and we really wanted to give it an upgrade and a refresh. And so now the Mini Masterpieces have moved up to the 4th floor in a brand new exhibit that you can come check out here at the museum. And I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek tour this morning. So as we start, as you come up the ramp to the 4th floor, this is the first miniature house that you are greeted by. And this miniature house is brand new. It was a gift from Wanda Y. Fortune. And this house is incredible, not only because of its incredible amount of detail, but it also tells us a story. And this house is called Chateauboma, and it tells the story of a daughter's wedding day. And all the little details throughout the house help support that story. Some of my favorite are here in the kitchen. We see a wedding cake and presents. And we also see up in the bride's room, we see some of her clothes that she's ready to pack for her honeymoon. So there's just so many fun details throughout this house. Now you and your family, when you come, can try to spot some of those amazing details. All throughout this exhibit, we have these wonderful I Spy prompts. And they give you a riddle and a picture of some fun things that you can find hidden in these miniature rooms and this miniature house. Now, I'm not going to give away where these are. You're going to have to come and hunt for yourselves, but they're super fun and they're spread out all throughout this exhibit. So as we continue on this way, you'll see that for this newly imagined Mini Masterpieces, we really wanted to think about these miniature rooms and the stories that they tell. They're tiny, they have these incredible amounts of detail that really allow us to imagine what life was like in a different time and place. And that's what we're hoping you'll do when you come here. Not only will you discover their stories, but you'll be able to tell stories about what people might have done if they lived in these rooms of the past. And so as we make our way around, this is a really wonderful miniature because it shows what the first site of the Children's Museum of Indianapolis might have looked like. The Children's Museum was founded in 1925, and this is what we think the first museum might have looked like. And a lot of the miniature objects you see in this room are actually in our collection today, still to this day. And a really fun I Spy with this room is that we have one of those life-size real collection objects right here on display, and you can see if you can find its miniature version in the room next door. So let's continue around. And one other thing that I really want to point out is these beautiful facades. Now, when we are thinking about the stories these miniatures tell, we think about, these are rooms, but they're part of a bigger house. So we really wanted to bring those houses to life. And our amazing team here at the museum built all of these facades from scratch, designed and built them. And they are just gorgeous works of art in and of themselves. So this is a Victorian style house. And we see two of the rooms that might have been in that Victorian house, a dining room, and then on the other side, a sitting room. So kind of like a parlor where people might listen to music or sit around the fire. And one of the things that makes miniatures so amazing is that they're built using this very precise scale, where 1 inch in the miniature room equals 1 foot in real life. So by using that exact scale, it tricks your eyes when you're looking inside, and everything looks lifelike. I think my favorite thing in this room is the piano in the back, because I play the piano, so I think it's kind of fun to see a miniature piano. All right, continuing around here, this room is from a Massachusetts estate, and this room is really cool because some of the miniature rooms we have actually recreate real places. So this room that you see here in miniature, it was actually a real room in a home in Massachusetts in the early 1800s. And so we have a picture of what that real life-size room could look like, and you can kind of compare between that picture and the miniature room to see what similarities you see and how close they got those details. Something really fun that's brand new for this reimagined experience is this display right here. And I love this display because we call it the big little case here at the Children's Museum because it shows examples of big life-size objects next to their miniature counterpart. And my absolute favorite one is all the way here at the bottom. We can see a life-size dog embroidered pillow and then a miniature dog embroidered pillow. And the level of detail is just incredible. It's hard to imagine how these artists and these craftsmen create such tiny objects with all this little minute detail. It's just amazing. You have to come see it in person to really get up close and see all those tiny little details that they've incorporated. Next we have one of our miniature rooms that shows a scene from a tavern. And this has a really fun I Spy with it. You can try to find a set of keys. And again, I'm not going to give away where they are. You're going to have to come and hunt through the room for yourself. But there's some great details in here. All right. Moving on to the next miniature house. This is probably my absolute favorite part of our whole newly reimagined experience. And that's because we have used an illusion called Pepper's Ghost to help bring a miniature room to life. Now this illusion has been around for a very long time, and one famous example of it is actually from the Haunted Mansion in Disney World, where they've used it to bring some ghosts to life. But we have used a version of Pepper's Ghost to bring our miniature room to life, so you can really see the people and stories that might have been and taken place in a room like this in the past, and then imagine what it would have been like to live there. We also have some more information. If you're really interested in how we made this illusion come to life, we have a great blog on our website where you can learn more about how the illusion works, because it's pretty cool. Next, we have a library scene. And this miniature room, my favorite part about it is that it has so many tiny miniature novels and books. In fact, it has 154 miniature about this room. And so you'll have to come in and see if you can count them up for yourself and find them all. All right, so you've gotten to see a lot of miniature rooms, but we also wanted to make sure that we made this newly reimagined experience interactive and gave families something that they can do. So right here we have a spot where you can create your own miniature room. So if you touch the screen to start, you'll start by getting kind of a detailed background about different types of furniture styles and time periods that miniature artists use to create their rooms. And then you'll get to create your very own miniature room. You not only get to pick the walls and the floors, but different furniture that you might include, and you can even add a portrait of yourself to the wall. So that's really fun. You can come and try it out and see, test your eye for miniature detail. Now over here we have another Victorian style house, and this shows us a bedroom scene. And one thing that we like to, that we wanted to make sure we let visitors know when we were creating this new exhibit is that a lot of times people see miniature houses and think that they're just like doll houses. But in fact, miniatures and doll houses are not quite the same. Doll houses are things that kids play with and they rearrange the furniture, but miniature houses are really meant to be a display. They use that precise scale, and they're a display to help us imagine life in another time and place. So when you come, maybe you can look into this bedroom and imagine what it would have been like if that was your bedroom at home. I know I would have loved a fancy bedroom like that growing up. This miniature house shows, our miniature room shows us a stairwell, a New England stairwell. And I just think that the details in the wood of this miniature house are so incredible. And it makes us think about the tools that miniature makers must use to create these tiny worlds. And so we did want to point out some of the cool tools that miniature makers use. They might be things that you're familiar with, like a craft knife, but some of them are really kind of strange. So these are tools that dentists actually use when they are checking up people's teeth, but miniature makers use them as little tiny itty bitty drills since they're so tiny and precise to carve and drill the tiny details you see. All right, next we have another super fun interactive that is brand new to this newly reimagined experience. And this is a magnifier that you can slide up and down and left and right to really look at some of these miniatures up close. And I think there's a really fun special surprise right here in the middle. If you are a Harry Potter fan, this is a mini howler that was sent to Ron Weasley, you might remember, from Chamber of Secrets. And so you can come and see that up close in person. And it's so detailed. If you use the magnifier, you can actually read the words that are on that letter, which is so crazy that somebody was able to create that so tiny. And finally, our last miniature house here. This miniature house is another example of a miniature room that recreates a real place and time. So this room is called Washington's House of Decision, and it's called that because this room is based on a room from a house called the Thompson-Neely House in Pennsylvania. And it's thought that Washington may have made the historic decision to cross the Delaware River while he was at this house in 1776. So I think some of the details you see there are like, Washington's battle plans and his setup where he might have been thinking about how they were going to do that historic crossing of the river. So that kind of ends our tour around mini masterpieces. We would love for you to come down to the Children's Museum and check out these tiny miniature magical worlds in person. Thank you so much for joining me this morning and have a great day. Bye-bye.